So I'm just gonna quickly go over some of the research I did, just so that I remember later and in case anybody else is interested. When Boo first got sick, we were suspicious that he had an infection. So I did a lot of research on infections, and they basically break down into four categories: bacterial, viral, parasitic, and fungal. So we did a ton of blood tests and ruled out a lot of the infections. And Boo did a 6-week run of amoxiclav, which is used for soft tissue abscesses and infections. So it's highly unlikely that any of the infections from any of the four categories were involved. The only thing is that an infection could have triggered the immune response. So, for example, if he had had a small soft tissue abscess that we couldn't find, it's possible that it caused the immune response that then got carried away. So, for example, he had a bat and ear infection last summer, so it's entirely possible that that triggered the immune response. The next kind of category that we looked into was neoplasia, which is the dog word for cancer. But so we did a whole bunch of x-rays, and we should have been able to see something if it had been neoplasia. There's a chance that there's a lymphoma somewhere. So, but he didn't have the enlarged lymph nodes, and he didn't have difficulty breathing. So it's possible, but unlikely. So again, that could have been something that triggered the immune response, and then his body took care of it, or it could be something that'll show up again later. Then, because he did really well on the prednisone, we spent quite a bit of time looking at autoimmune disease and sterile inflammatory processes. So, what he ended up being diagnosed with is IMPA, which is immune-mediated polyarthritis. And I don't know enough about the autoimmune kind of area to really break it down for you, but he did have pancreatitis, which is a inflammatory process. It's an immune response. So that could have been what prompted this. It could have been a side effect from this. It could have been a false positive because the pancreatitis test isn't it is fallible, so it's entirely possible he didn't have it. He Because he didn't have all the symptoms. So he didn't have the vomiting, he didn't have the diarrhea, he didn't have the hunched back. So it's more likely that he had the IMPA and somehow tested weirdly for the pancreatitis. So anyway, that kind of breaks down our whole process. And if you have any questions, let me know. I am going to be doing a ton of research into autoimmune diseases in dogs to try and figure out what's hereditary and what isn't. So I will keep you posted. Okay, bye.